Does this new whistleblower have enough proof that will be shown at the new hearing to blow the lid off this thing? That is what Michael Shellenberger is alluding to. Yesterday, we talked about it on UAP Tuesday, but there's a lot of interviews that Michael's been giving. Just went on Rogan's show, talked about it for a bit. He went on Ross Coldhart, talked about it. I'm going to bring up the Ross Coldhart interview that he was on News Nation, and this is what he said.
Pentagon is illegally hiding secret UFO programs from Congress, sources allege. Tell me more, sir.
So a new whistleblower has come forward with a written report that this person has shared with some members of Congress and with me, and the report is quite extraordinary. It says that there is an unacknowledged special access program called Immaculate Constellation, which is the parent program, is the language used for exactly what you said: UAP, crash retrieval, reverse engineering, and apparently a very large database of high quality photographs, videos, infrared videos, apparently much more sophisticated documentation of many more UAP encounters than have been released.
All right, so Michael also went on Joe Rogan and essentially said the same thing and went way more in depth, as I think the interview was almost like 3 hours long. So I haven't really dove into the whole thing yet, but I will, and if there's more, then we'll cover it tomorrow. But this is more and more interesting. When we were on the UAP Tuesday show yesterday, this dropped, and we were already kind of talking about how Reddit was sniffing around this thing, and now Michael has reported on it. This whistleblower, whoever it might be, could be, if this is the case, a bigger story and event than even David Grush was. If he's written up this report, he or she has written up this report, has given it to Congress, has all this stuff, that the high-def photos and all these different things, and is prepared to testify and bring this forward to the hearing, because it is coincidental that this comes out right around the same time that the hearing is going to come out in November, which is also very similar to what happened back in 2023, where Ross Coldhart had this interview with David Grush. David Grush said these things, and then 2 months later, the hearing happens, and David Grush testifies. So I like that they just said, you know, he as he mentioned on Rogan, Shellenberger said, this is someone who worked in the government. He is who he says he is. Believe him. This is a high-level person, and they haven't revealed the person's name. Now, whether or not they do the same type of thing where Ross Coldhart does an interview with him, or somebody else does an interview with him, or they don't interview him at all, and they say, okay, let's just wait. We will call them on the stand when it is time. As Tim Burchett said last time, you know, we let up who was our witnesses, and then NASA and everybody told them to shush. But they're naming the actual program itself here in this report, and it is it's very interesting. The program is called Immaculate Constellation, and there's more and more that Michael Shellenberger has been diving into, and obviously did enough of the research to say, okay, I'm out there and I feel confident enough that this person is legit, and this is legit, and he's gone to Congress, and this is a very telling report overall. And the first thing he does, I mean, because this came out of nowhere, and then so right away he must have made the call to Rogan to say, hey, get me on the show, or Rogan wanted to talk to him, where he's been on Rogan before. But to get this out there that fast, this is a smart move, and this shows you the change in media overall, right? As you know, if you've been watching this show, I talk about how important it is that the mainstream media cover it, and I say that, and I continue to say that. But it's not the only option in order to get your story out there. Clearly, you go into the biggest podcast in the world in Rogan's show, and you say, if you got that connection, and Rogan goes, yeah, let's talk about this, and you break the story, you really go into depth in this story on his show. I mean, look at when Lou Elizondo was on. Lou Elizondo had over, I think, 1 million, 1.5, whatever it was when he went on Rogan's show, and it brought up a lot of attention to the subject. And if you have this, and more people are talking about this does seem like there is a lead up to what is happening thus far. the plan for disclosure, if you will, because the Lou Elizondo side, the James Fox documentary, this new whistleblower, the hearing, maybe tides are turning. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, it's so funny. Like when I go in the comments, sometimes I see people who are going, "You're too hopeful about this," and then I see other people, "You're too skeptical about this." So there's no winning on either side of that. I just think that this is an interesting story. If this turns out to be someone who really flips it on its head, and maybe it's somebody that they never thought would flip, and never thought would tell their secrets, and I can't believe, like, I feel like there's people like that. I feel like there's people in there that put up the facade of like, how dare these people talk? I can't believe that they're talking. This should be a secret forever. And meanwhile, they're bursting on the inside to tell people of what the hell is going on. And this might be one of those situations. But what do you think about this? What do you think about the program? What do you think about this new whistleblower? What do you think about the idea that this whistleblower could potentially blow the roof off this thing? Or do you just think like, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it, which is a fair assessment to have also. But does this have enough weight on it? Feels like it does, right? Put your comments in there. Let me hear what you're thinking. Thanks for joining me here today. We'll see you back here tomorrow on the show. Thanks, everybody.